Alright, welcome to the Cage Volume Project. In this tutorial I'm going to share how to do some drawing basically with Cage Volume with these tools. I'm currently drawing this hammer here. Kind of bring it into focus here. And I'll have it off to the side here as I'm drawing it. But what I want you to see is with this tool here is that basically I have started the construction here, and you can see the lighter lines. And this is what's great about Cage Volume is you go around here and you discover as you go along. You're like, wait, that line's not quite correct, so let's go with a heavier, darker line here. And that's okay. So I just went through and darkened up the different lines I wanted. In fact, the little ball peen hammer tip, you can see it's a little bit smaller, and I think it needs to go a little bit smaller yet. So I'm going to use my darker 6B pencil here and kind of get in here and basically make it just a little bit smaller yet. So I'm thinking if I can come in, and again I'm looking at the hammer off to the side so you're not able to see that, but just carve it in just a little bit more and redraw the loop here. And there's this little edge here. Now a lot of objects you think are really straight edges, they actually have a lot of edges that are kind of warped and bent. If you look at the hammer tip here, I'll kind of bring it in as close as I can. You can see there's some areas here where there's definitely some bends and lots of scratches and bumps. So any of those kind of details that you can pick up in the drawing will make it that just more realistic, basically. So I'm going to go through here like the angled hook here and just add a little bit more thickness here to the end here, and then just notice with my shading here, I've kind of gone directional. So I'm drawing shading downwards here, and then on the back part, I'm kind of shading across and making it darker so I can define those two planes. So essentially, I'll just redraw the shape here off to the side real quick. Use basically like this. So you have lines going down this way, right? And then you have lines going this way. So if you can angle lines any way you want to follow the form, you're going to get more out of it. So for example, on this hammer here, this is just this hammer in a different direction, drawing it this way. Basically what I've done here is I've been redrawing this part here, which basically I felt like it needed to go flatter downwards. And so I'm just looking at this angle here, this angle right here. And so as I'm drawing, I'm really looking at those angles and thinking to myself, is it correct, is it not? And you can kind of see a side-by-side comparison here that some of it's correct, but some of it definitely needs to come up. Like the flare of the tips actually at the end here need to go up further. So I could just basically bring these up, higher up, and redraw that along here. And you try and draw the continuous line, but you can hold your pencil in different ways. Like sometimes I'll draw like more of a standard kind of pencil drawing, and then other times I'll draw which is more like a traditional painter or draftsman will do in a fine arts program, where they draw more like this. They kind of hold it more to the side, and so like here's the wood grain end of the hammer, and this is just my first attempt to kind of go down and around. The thing about the hammer base, the wooden handle, you have to understand is it has curves. It goes in and out. So a lot of times, I apologize for the sound. I'm doing laundry at the same time. We have the handle going in and out here. So you can see there's a curve that goes in and out. Very important to notice these kind of things as you're drawing. If you don't notice these things, you'll tend to draw, again, more symbols. And so that's why Cage Volume, you really just want to slow everything down and kind of really look at things. So I'm looking at the end here and just kind of making it just quite a bit bigger. And I'm going to make that big loop. Again, I'm turning the hammer around as I look at it. And I can turn this thing around to get that end on there. Notice on the end there's actually an edge bevel here. A lot of people forget that on there. And it depends on the angle you're at. From this angle you're not necessarily going to see that bevel, but it's something to take note of. And so now I know that goes wider out, and then it goes back in, and then out, and then back in again. And then to the side here, there's this part where there's these little edges here of the front. Here there's like this little, almost like just a little loop. It tapers in right here. And so that's how I'm kind of drawing along here. I am using a 6B pencil. I could switch back to lighter pencil, the 2B, for these early construction lines. Typically I like to do that. So sometimes I'm just not aware of which pencil I have. But again, I'm just kind of go through here and kind of draw these lines as I go along. So we'll end here at this video, but in the future videos I'll show some more little tricks and figure out how to add more detail to these cage volume drawings with tools. Until next time, cheers.